give your presentation when all the tech goes awry? Hi, my name is Greg Story. I'm the president of Dale Carnegie Training and the author of Japan Sales Mastery. We're coming to you from the High Performance Center here in Akasaki, Minato-ku, in the very business center of Tokyo. Well, what happens when everything goes wrong? Well, this is a very interesting point. Now, I'm always amazed, actually, to see very high-powered, big company executives come into Tokyo. They're obviously making a visit here to their team, and they're giving a presentation, usually one of the big chambers of commerce, and they're reading it. They're reading the whole thing. Now, some can read it well by looking at the audience and then looking at their notes. Others are not so good. They read the whole thing, hardly look in the audience. But I asked myself, how could you get to become the president? Such a big shot in such a big company, and you have to read your presentation notes? You don't know your industry? You don't know what's happening in your company to enable you to talk without notes? That's just unthinkable to me. So I have to mark down, in my view anyway, any president or chief executive I see coming through town who can't get up there, no notes, no visible notes anyway, and talk to the audience. Now, you can have notes, but I'm talking about they're reading the whole speech. Someone in the marketing department or the PR department probably has written it for them, and now they're just reading what someone else wrote. Maybe they made some adjustments themselves, but it's not quite the same, is it? It's about to get up there and to speak. Now, a great example of that, of not having any notes, visible notes actually, and being able to give a 3-hour lecture. I'll relate what this means to having your tech go awry in a moment, but just bear with me for a second. Because when I talk about being able to speak without having reliance on the tech. This professor was at Harvard Business School. I was sent there by my company. It was a week-long program, and it was a 3-hour lecture. Now, this was a brand new facility they'd rebuilt at Harvard, and they had the very beautiful tiered seating, and they had, amazingly to me, all these blackboards. Like in the old days, you'd actually, move the blackboards up and down, 3 levels of blackboard and chalk. Couldn't believe it. Anyway, that's how they had it. Anyway, this professor, he's up there talking, he's giving this lecture, and I'm amazed, like, wow, he's got no notes. I happen to notice later that on the wall behind us all, on the back wall, he'd put a very large piece of paper with 10 points on it. Now, his eyesight must have been pretty good. I don't think I could have done that, but his eyesight was pretty good. He could see those 10 points, and that was his lecture. And he knew, here's my order. Each of those points, he elaborated on those points. He knew what to talk about, and away he went. So all of us can do that. So if we get to the venue, and for whatever reason, your laptop's not working, or for whatever reason, the monitor's not working, or the projector's not working, or something goes terribly wrong, and there's nothing there for you visually to present. Now, always as a backup, whenever I go to give speeches, I prefer to take my own laptop where possible, because usually I find I have less trouble when I do that. But if I'm using someone else's laptop, then I obviously have the USB with me. But also I take printed copies of the slide deck if I'm using a slide deck. Now, the reason for that is if something goes wrong, I have got prompts there, if I need them, to go through my talk. Now, I can't visually display graphs. I can't visually display diagrams, of course, because the text's not working. Can't get it on the screen. But I can describe it. The other point there is, when that happens, you've got a certain order. Now, you're the only person, generally, in the room who knows the order. So if you're not using any sort of notes at all, you're doing it just from scratch, from memory, or from spontaneous combustion here, and away you go, only you know if point 4 should have been at point 3, or the other way around, No one else will know that, so stick with it, keep going. If you have time, and this is the other thing too, always get there early. Get there early, and then you find out all the tech geniuses cannot put Humpty Dumpty back on the wall again here, it's broken, can't be fixed. You have no tech. At least you're there early. And if you've got your slide deck with you, you can go through that, just remind yourself of what you want to talk about, even make some just handwritten notes, some points like that, Professor, 10 points you want to talk to. There's no problem glancing at 10 points and then talking to your audience. Reading every line, that's a problem, unless it's something really, really technical that you couldn't possibly keep in your mind. Well, that'd be okay. That'd be a very special circumstance, though, and very, very few business presentations are actually like that. So here's a couple of points. Always get there early. Always check the tech is working. Always bring copies. If you're using a slide deck, always bring physical copies of your slide deck with you. Okay? Always have backup USB with you. If you can bring your own laptop, bring your own laptop. That way you seem to have a better chance of getting the tech to work. But the thing is, though, only you know what you're going to talk about. And if it doesn't quite go in the order it should go, don't say anything. Keep that to yourself. Carry on. The audience, for the greater part, will never know. So don't show there's been a problem. And don't panic. You don't panic because you're prepared. And when you're prepared, you will be very successful. You know your subject. You're in your business. You're in your industry. You have enough knowledge. Usually a lot more knowledge than anyone sitting in that audience. So be prepared, and then stress levels go down. No matter what happens, you're good to go. And that is what we want, isn't it?